MTN SME Hub. Link to growth. Link to success. Link to the ultimate resource for business advice and insights.
Welcome back to the Big Small Business Show. In studio with us today, we've got Salim Essack. He's the founder of Leanbiz Consulting, and we've been talking about whether his business is actually a consulting business or a software business. So I think this is, Salim, this is a very important first question to ask. From a strategic point of view, it determines, number one, what is your spearhead, what you're going into market with so people understand. If you're going in as a consulting business and you're using software to support that, then your value proposition is as a consultant, and you're competing with other consultants, and you're saying my methodology is better than their methodology, and we help you with this software. If you're a software business, then the lead in is we're a software business that this is what you install, and we will consult with you to get this installed. And should you want additional consulting in terms of making this all work, we can provide that, right? And so then the question now in terms of how you attack this market is that you've got different value proposition in that. You spoke about your second constraint, that it's long term. Okay, so if you're going as software, it's not long term. You remove one of the constraints because you're saying, install this software. Here's a couple of examples of people. I asked you if you've got examples. They went from 100 to 200. They went from 100 cost to 90 cost, to whatever the case may be. You got those case studies by installing the software, and we'll put together with the software 5 hours or 10 hours or 10 days, whatever, of consulting to get that in. Then you're a software business. So I don't know what the answer is, but you would be better placed to answer the question. In the software, if I'm in the software business, it feels like one of the constraints has disappeared. And it actually feels to me as if two constraints have disappeared, because coming back to the other constraint, which is sales, then you've got somebody who's calling up and talking about, I want to install the software for you. And then you can come in as a technical input after that, once they've got the meeting, because your question was, how do I get in front of these individuals? Okay, and you are the sales constraint. My guess is that I get, for me, it's very obvious. You know what you're talking about. It's perfectly obvious. But to me, you're not succinct. So you're not talking, when I ask you what's your love language, you're not talking to me, it's my love language, and saying that, because I'm not hearing anything else. I'm just waiting for you to say the words that I want to hear. Everything else is just a blur. So when you start to tighten what business are you in, then you understand that when I ask you which means what for you, so that I'm saving money, making more money. How do you do that? This is how I do that. If you take people through those three things, I'm a software business, I'm going to do this, can I come see you? You don't need to have, then no one's going to over the phone say, or give me all the detail. So you're basically trying to sell a meeting. And so if you've got a salesperson who can sell that meeting, even yourself to sell that meeting, when you're in front of them, then they're asking you questions, then your technical prowess can come out and say, we can do this and this. And I would caution you not to move and say, oh, but we're actually a whole consulting business if you've chosen software business. Because otherwise you're confusing the market as to what you are. Then I asked you about I asked you the question around these stories. Have you got these stories of 100 to 200, 100 cost to 90 cost? Have you got those? For me, and I don't know if you do this, and I should have asked you, it's around creating content around what you do and becoming a thought leader in that space. Now, once again, I go back to the first question is, are you in the software business, or are you in the consulting business, or other? When you provide content, your content has to have the flavor of software, the flavor of consulting, whatever business you've decided to talk about. But you're coming in quite a, let's call it you're talking about at an academic level what this is, and you've got a slight hints of flavor around software or consulting around that, and you build content up on that. So you're known as that guy who does this. You said you've built some methodology, etc. Name that methodology, talk about that methodology, brag about that methodology, prove that that methodology works, and keep talking about it as the bigger problem for that industry. So when people think about that problem, when they're searching it, you keep coming up every time they search it, and you come through. And so that's where the inbound calls will start to come through. So content needs to be a big part of your strategy. I'll ask you about trade shows as well. My strong view today is that I think cold calling and calling people our network is obviously the best, right? Referrals is part of that. Cold calling, I think, is still important. I still think cold calling has got a big place in sales today. Okay. Especially if you've read something and say, can I speak to you? So I think I've got a solution for you. So if you're reading profusely on the likes of LinkedIn or the trade websites, etc., then you pick that up, phone up the individual based on the problem set, and I think I've got a solution for you. Can I come speak to you about it? So that trade show is also about the brand. So often those trade shows, to your point, is the wrong person might be there, but you don't need a lot to win. You just need 1-2 big clients from that. But they keep seeing you. So it's a brand building exercise. So I would definitely put budget towards trade shows. And then, to me, if you want to get to scale, because it feels to me like you've definitely got the gift of the gab. You definitely, if my instinct is, you know what you're talking about, but you're torn between the operation side and the sales side. If the business is going to grow, you need to build out a sales team. And so that sales team needs something to sell. And that needs to be succinct, that they can tell the story. Okay. And to me, if somebody else, I'm busy rolling out a new business right now, and where I deem success is when the salesperson that I've hired can sell more than me. That to me is the point where I know the business is going to be successful, because it means that I can now replicate it. Okay, so working very, very hard still to try and tighten in the same context, to try to take something very big and make it into one sentence. What do you do in a sentence? I do this. Yeah. What business am I in? I'm in the software business or the consulting business. I'm in this business. And that's where you go. And I think if you just get those pieces right, I think you will land up in front of a lot more people than you will cope with. And I look forward to hearing that story of how you went from 100 to 200 based on this software. Okay. Good. I hope that's helped.
Thank you very much. That's really good advice.
Great. And I hope that helped you too. And do remember, if you think it, write it down and make it a reality.
The Big Small Business Show, proudly sponsored by MTN Business.